Hi, welcome to ShowMeTheCurry.com. I'm Anuja.
And I'm Hital, and today we're making a roasted tomatillo salsa. So something yummy for any kind of gatherings you have coming up. It's a great dip and chip starter, or you can use it to accompany like any kind of Mexican dish that you're preparing. So it's a really easy recipe. Let's get started.
Let's first figure out what tomatillo is.
So most people think that tomatillos are tomatoes, which they look like tomatoes, but they're not really tomatoes. They're not green tomatoes. They have this weird little papery film over them. So when you have to use these tomatillos, you have to be sure you have to take this papery film out, all the way out, and then wash them really nicely because they do have a sticky film over it. So wash it with a little warm water and get all that stickiness out, and you're ready to go.
So basically tomatillos are a little sour, so that's where the flavor comes from, and it's a fruit basically. And if you cannot find tomatillos, you can use either underripe red tomatoes, just basically that are a little sour, and use a little extra lime juice and it'll work just as fine. But you can also serve this, make the same dish with red tomatoes. If you can't even find green tomatoes, then it works out really well. And it's a very simple recipe. Hetal's already washed and cut them, cut the tomatillos.
Basically, we've just cut them in half, like this. And we're using about 1 pound of tomatillos.
So over here I have a flat baking dish, and it's wide, it's big, and I've lined it with foil. Now there's a lot of juice that comes out of this, so you do want to use something that has a little bit of height that can capture all the juices. You don't want it going all over your oven. So I've lined it just for easy cleanup, and I'm just going to spray it lightly. And we're going to just put our tomatillos in there, and we're going to put the cut side down so that the skin gets a nice charred look and flavor. And we're going to be putting this in the oven on broil. It's actually already on, so it's nice and ready by the time we get this all sorted out.
So the rest of our ingredients, we have some jalapeno peppers. Now you can use jalapeno or you can use serrano, and if you want a little more kick, you use the serrano peppers, which are a little hotter.
And if you wanted habanero,
for the really braves, go ahead and use that habanero. But if you don't want a lot of spice and you know even less than a jalapenos, basically you can de-seed the jalapeno and use them. But we want it spicy, so we're going to go ahead and use it all the way. And it's again to taste. We're using about 4 of them, 4 jalapenos for about 1 pound of tomatillos.
Again, cut side down.
And we have 1 medium onion that we've quartered.
And just open it up a little bit, and keep it at a distance. That way everything gets evenly cooked and it's not crowded.
And we're using about 6 large cloves of garlic.
And I'm going to again lightly just spray it on top. And it goes into the oven. It's on broil, it's on high, and it's close to the top element. But please keep an eye on it. You just want a nice brown look on the top.
So all our veggies are out of the oven. Now ours took about 10 minutes. It can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on how close you put it up to the element and how powerful your oven is.
And how brown you want your salsa to be. So, but I think this is perfect. Look at this. We got a few spots. We want to retain the green if possible, but honestly it'll taste good either way.
Right. And those few little charred portions, once you grind it all up, they'll kind of spread throughout the entire salsa and it'll flavor everything. So it's just perfect. And we'll just move it up and down a little so it just cools down faster.
So now we are going to be putting it in the food processor, so you do want it to cool down just a little bit. And this is a great salsa. It can be had warm or cold. It tastes great either way. Now if you're going to serve it warm, then I suggest put this in the food processor, get the whole process going, and then add in the cilantro, some chopped cilantro, so that it doesn't wilt as fast. But if you're going to have it cold, you're going to let it cool down totally, then just go ahead and wait for it to cool down, and you can put the cilantro in there and just give it a whirl together.
Right.
So what we did, we transferred the tomatillos and everything into a bowl, and we just stuck it in the freezer for a little while so it cooled down a little faster. So it's not super hot, and it's perfect now. So I'm going to add it to my food processor.
And you can see a lot of liquid came out of those tomatillos as it was just sitting there. And here we have some fresh cilantro, a nice big handful. We're using the stems and the leaves. We're just going to give it a rough chop. And also add this to the food processor.
To this you're going to add about half a teaspoon of roasted cumin powder, just a little bit of salt. You can always adjust later. And to balance the tartness, we're going to add just a little bit of sugar, so about half a teaspoon, and some fresh lime juice.
Now, lime juice is always to taste, depending on how tart your tomatillos happen to be.
And we're just going to pulse it. Now you don't want to, at least for the salsa, you don't want it to be a smooth paste. Of course, actually you can do it if you like to, but we're going to keep it a little chunky, so there is some texture, so we're just going to pulse it. So just halfway through the process, just push it down a little bit. And honestly, you can pulse it as much as you like or make it as smooth as you like. It's to taste.
So our tomatillo salsa is ready. Now here it is all mixed together, and we adjusted lime and salt and everything to our taste, and it's perfect right now.
Right.
But we wanted to share one other thing with you. Here's a salsa that we made a little earlier. And look at it, it looks completely different.
Yeah, it's the same, but we just let it char a little longer, so it had more black spots on it. We in fact even turned the tomatillo and everything around a little bit more, gave it a charred look from both sides, so it would have a more smoky flavor. But I know a lot of people don't like that. They like the freshness of the tomatillo, and either way, it tastes really good.
Right, but it's the exact same recipe. If you let it go in the oven on your broiler for, you know, another 10 minutes or so, you get something like that. So it's a good versatile salsa.
So you can use this on, you know, like we mentioned, with chips, of course. You can have it like as a side in any kind of Mexican dish or meal, or you can even put it on top of enchiladas. You know, it gives the tomatillo's green sauce.
Right.
It's just excellent. Of course, I think you might have to smoothen it down a little bit more, make it more saucy, and that's about it.
It tastes even good on eggs.
Oh yeah.
You know, like omelets or scrambled eggs or something. Tastes fantastic with that.
So enjoy your tomatillo salsa, and join us again on another episode of ShowMeTheCurry.com.
Adding a pinch of spice to your life.